This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. Time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the social medias and the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, hanging with all you tonight. And we have with us, Katie is on assignment. She's in Phoenix with a client this week. So enjoying even more heat, I guess. Ugh. But with me is my trusty iPhoneography partner here. I said that like it's like I'm your co-host. That's not what I meant to say. But Dave Podner's here from the Pod Cave.
But always glad to be here. Always glad to be. But remember, though, as they say out there, it's a dry heat, like an oven.
I don't know.
Dry heat.
I don't know what happened. We started and your frame rate just dropped like a rock. So we'll see what's going on with that. And also the voice in the machine is back. Intern John has rejoined us.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back. You're back in the Pittsburgh area. I know.
I am, briefly.
For those who don't know, John is a Pitt student that joined us here in I guess the winter springish months. Has been helping out with community support and hanging with us on various video gigs, I guess, at this point. So, what brings you back to Pittsburgh that the audience may be interested in?
Mostly that I'm kind of, this is my like graduation present, taking the month off.
Okay.
I have not really had like a full break, at least since I started college, because I always did research and stuff over the summers, including freshman year. So this is the first time I've literally had nothing. Like, I don't have a job, I don't have school, I don't have research, I don't have papers this month and this month only. And it's freaking me out a little, I'm not gonna lie. You do get used to, the grind, I guess, but it's nice.
You get to see what the other side is on it, right?
Yeah. Before
you do something crazy coming up here for your master's program, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So I'm not from Pittsburgh. Second week of August, I'm going home to finish planning for the first week of September. I will be going to Scotland, assuming I get my visa. Visa process ongoing. Turns out that's really annoying, which I figured it would be, but I had to just collect so many things to get that to happen. So still waiting, which is great because I can't really rent an apartment until I get my visa, which I love. That's really fun. But it's fine.
I'm sure they have hostels or something over there if I from what I know from European movies.
Well, sure, but I need a long-term accommodation.
I mean, everything I know about traveling in Europe is I know from Eurotrip and National Lampoons.
Those are two really great movies. Right. I think I'll throw Trainspotting in there, and that should just about cover it.
I hope you don't have a Trainspotting experience. I can't understand half of that movie. So,
but I mean, you're going to Scotland. I'm sure there's a friendly farmer who has a little extra room in the barn.
Yes.
Well, he'll say, you're an American. Sit in the hay and relax a little bit.
Yeah, sit in the hay.
It's more Irish, but
I don't know what that was, but nice try. No, obviously. So no, glad to have you back here with us. Good to have you hang with us on Thursday nights again and everything. And we'll try to find some more things for you to do here in your sabbatical, your Pittsburgh sabbatical. Did you at least go to Picklesburg or anything?
Did I what?
Go to Picklesburg downtown this weekend?
I I didn't. My friend did. I asked him how it was. He came in from out of town to go. He said there was about 5 bajillion people there and it was very hot.
That's the usual, yeah.
I asked him to get me fried pickles and he said they were like $12 and the line was a bajillion people long. So he's going to make fried pickles at some point for me rather than get them at Picklesburg.
Other than just kind of walking through it, there was like almost no line at the grilled cheese place, and Missy is like on this grilled cheese kick right now. Like she picked the one up from Dunkin' Donuts today. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. So we had grilled cheese and pickles, which was pretty great, and cream soda, which, you know, on brand. I got to see the pickle at the ride. I did not ride the pickle. So whatever. It's just kind of how we roll. But anyways, too hot to get in, like try the alcohol concoctions or anything like that. But I was going to be down there and see the giant floating pickle and everything. So I think it's only the second, maybe third time I've been down there for that. But either way, anyways, we heard so much about it last week and everything like that. So I wanted to touch base on that. So, well, let's get into our button. It's the awesome thing of the week. And I got a little bit of show and tell this week. All right. So I picked up I did accidental Prime Day shopping, by the way. Somebody sent me, I think our friend Jared was the one that maybe sent me. There was like a case that I think just showed up on my porch, according to my messages. We got like one of those kind of like Pelican cases, like one of those storage cases that we use for video equipment. I threw on my Affirm. But also, like, I was just kind of peeking because I was getting mad because, like, I bought a controller ages ago, right, for my phone. And it's one of these Shanwan. It was like $40. It's like, you know, kind of one of those, all the instructions in the app are in like Chinese kind of thing. It mostly works. It's Bluetooth. My phone fits mostly in it because I have a giant ass phone. And it just like only slightly awkward because of the case that I have, so I don't break this thing all the time. And it relatively, like, it's okay, but and it wasn't just that I needed a better controller. It was more a lot of like I just don't have the controller around when I want to play, which is it's in my backpack. My backpack I leave at work a lot, and then I'm sitting at home. I was like, I really just want to play like Call of Duty Mobile or something and not use the touch controls. So it's just the reason I bought a second Xbox for the house versus the studio, and like the lower end one and everything, just so like it's just one is there when I want to play between the two places I basically live, right? So I finally, thankfully, I knew that the backbones were pretty much the go-to for these things, and I you know, they're $100, so I didn't really feel like that was worthwhile to play some games on my phone. But I guess versus dropping $500 on a Nintendo Switch, I guess that works out pretty well. So I picked this guy's up. I think it was about $60 on Prime Day. Again, accidental Prime Day. I'm just like happened to be looking and it happened to be Prime Week or whatever, right? So I did get to play with this a little bit the other night. It feels kind of nice, and again, they really push. Even like on the box, you can see it's kind of pushing right there about the Xbox Game Pass, Steam, and the Luna, which is Amazon's streaming service, GeForce Now, all things that I have some games in. Apple Arcade obviously has the Google Play stuff in here too, so it is compatible. There's different versions. There's a Lightning version. There's but for this, obviously, this is a USB-C for my current phone, which means it's going to work if I have a newer Android device as well. So and had a nice little kind of presentation box situation here. It has a little adapters if you're playing it with or without a case. The only thing is it's not compatible with my case because I get these like rugged ones and the USB is covered and I have like all this kind of stuff for the camera getting covered and everything like that. So I actually do have to take it out of the case currently. There's supposed to be backbone compatible cases. I've not investigated this yet, but it's something that I am going to in the near future. So there it is. You can see just for, I guess, size comparisons. And obviously it's kind of folded down a little bit more. You know, you just kind of have that, you know, again, that backbone concept. It's a really kind of open kind of device there. And, you know, but it's got like relatively a similar layout and everything like that. That you'd be mostly used to if you're playing things like an Xbox or something. Funny thing is, on the old Shanwan here, it looks like it's an Xbox looking controller, right? when I actually pull this up in Bluetooth, it identifies as a Sony DualShock controller. So when I pull up certain games, the buttons that it says press X to or square or triangle instead of A, B, X, Y. So that's one of those weird, like, you bought this thing from China, you get what you expect kind of things out of this. So there's that. And there are versions of these that have like the PlayStation looking buttons on it too, so that does make more sense. But as far as this goes, yeah, I do have to take this phone out of my, this is again an iPhone. What are we up to? Is this a 16? I literally
16.
I literally forget what version iPhone I have now. And you got your little nub in there for the USB-C. It clicks in like so, and then you're relatively good to go. So the other thing, yeah, go ahead. You got a question?
Is the backbone a little more beefy compared to the other one? You know, a little more solid built.
I think what you have here is, yeah, I think it's a better build. It feels like I think I've seen one of those 8-bit doos that Chilla always used to talk about. So the biggest thing that I notice here, like when I play this, and I don't know, I mean, there's a little ASMR for you. There's the A, B, X, Y buttons here, right? So in comparison, this is one of the things I noticed because I'm playing this thing and I have headphones on, and a lot of times I'm playing, like, my wife and I are like a little bit off on our sleep schedules. So there's like, I'm laying by her. I don't want to make a lot of noise, but then I got this thing. How loud that is in comparison, right? I don't know if that comes through on the Zoom or anything.
Yeah, but the Zoom actually kills the
noise.
So
and I don't know after I process this audio if you guys are going to hear it on the podcast, but it's a bit louder for things. Okay. So, and it is like that kind of plasticky kind of feel to it, but it does like kind of spread out and conform a little bit more. It's like a little wider versus, I think, of the backbone. I think it has a better feel than maybe the Nintendo Switch controls, if that makes sense. They're not as awkward because I played a Switch a couple times and I really think those controllers are really awkward. They're not, I don't think they're well done, honestly, on Nintendo. That's one of the things that kind of keeps me from doing it. But so it's got a pretty nice, it's got a pretty nice build to it. And again, if you're going from like, I'm going to go play my Game Pass games, like I was trying to play some of my WWE 2K on here, and they have 24 if you own it, but not 25 for some reason, which bothers me. But at least I can go back and play that one because honestly, I didn't play as much of it as I should have. So the biggest thing is if you're playing an Xbox game is kind of getting used to kind of where things sit on the controller, like just like where do your thumbs sit on things versus like playing a regular Xbox controller. And almost everything I play is on an Xbox controller, to be quite honest. The button, the orange button there, that's their button. That's their backbone button that opens the backbone app. The app is a launcher. It also bugs you to do a subscription like it's doing right now. Now, the subscription, what it gets you is a built-in emulator for retro games, for games like Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, and Nintendo 64. I already have one of those. I have the Delta app. Backbone Plus includes extended warranty, active paid subscription, 20 more features. Like it allegedly is going to do things like allow you to stream straight to Twitch, which could be interesting. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I ever saw a price for this, but there is a free trial on it. So I'm not going to hit that button. And honestly, and there's like $35 in perks and in-game rewards. So it's like one of those kinds of things. I don't know what else. And once again, I've been having trouble. I'm hard pressed to find a price on their website as well. Free trial before I subscribe, etc., etc. Buried in the Q&A is the price list. I just found it and still can't find it on the page. Oh no. What is a lifetime membership? It's still not showing me the price. That is sketchy, man. So like there's that whole thing. And the other thing is like it also has let me back up here. It has a launch. So like, if your games from Game Pass or Steam Link or whatever you may be playing through can go through this, and then you supposedly can launch here. But that's part of the subscription. You can't even use the basic app until you subscribe to this thing, which again, I haven't found the price for. And it says, hey, the prices are here. I just went to that page and I didn't see it. So I'm going to sign up. I will sign up for a free trial to try it out a little more extensively. I just didn't have, I thought, enough time to spend with that. So we'll, maybe I'll be able to report back in the future if that's worthwhile. But I really don't think it's going to be. So I guess there is a little bit. It did allow me to go download Sonic the Hedgehog Classic. So, but I don't know where. It's under the Play for Free section on here. I don't know why Sonic the Hedgehog is play for free, because I definitely paid for it back in the day. So it's been kind of interesting for that. Okay, so I may be mistaken, because it is actually letting me open up some of these games from here. Open your Xbox's guide menu. What does that mean? Quickly hold down and backbone button to open the Xbox console's guide. Okay, that's what they're telling me. Okay. I'm mistaken. I thought that it was bug. I think it was just generally bugging me for subscription, and I thought that it was telling me not to do it. So again, things like Game Pass work really well with this thing. I was playing some Doom Dark Ages, the brand new one that just came out. Of course, my brother's more of a PC gamer. Is telling me about how it's been interesting to try to get that working on his Linux. He runs Linux generally for his Steam games, and of course he's got a Steam Deck on there. And you can see here, like, I'm doing this backwards just so you guys can see it. But and it does look and feel to me a lot like a Steam Deck kind of situation. So you can see here I'm plugging through this thing. Oh no, now I'm stuck down here. And you can play. I want to boot up WWE 2K. I'm really close to the router, so it's going to work really well. Oh wait, what am I doing? Yep. Launch on console? No. What? Oh, it opened the This opened the app, I think. That's interesting. Yeah, it opened the app for remote play instead of going to the page for cloud gaming. So that's an interesting distinction there. And it keeps giving me requests for this too. So NVIDIA GeForce Now. Actually, I think I was playing the GeForce Now. I think I was using that to play the Dark Ages, because the save. I was seeing which games, because Xbox games are also included. If you have a subscription to Xbox and have your account logged in, all the Game Pass games are going to come over to NVIDIA for the PC versions of them. Now, not everything shares the save games on there, for instance. So you kind of have to watch for it. Like, I tried playing the old Doom Eternal. I did not have my save game. I launched the new Doom Dark Ages that I started the other day, and it did something. What was it? Gears of War. Microsoft games are obviously going to work that way. So so far so good. The only issue is, like it was saying about, that button is kind of let me load another game that's going to work with this thing here real quick. Here, let's just load Call of Duty so I have something going on here. That button, like, gets bumped is my thing. Like, it feels like it should be my, like, Xbox Select Start button, and I hit that and then accidentally loaded it. Most games will pause, but if you're doing something that's online, like a Call of Duty Mobile or Fortnite, or if you're doing a streaming game through a service like Game Pass Cloud for your Xbox, your game's not going to stop. So you've, like, really kind of paused things, and sometimes it will, like, kind of stop your stream too. So I wonder if that's updating. Yeah, it's updating a little bit there, but you get the idea. But again, played a bunch of games on here. The biggest thing is just kind of like, I want to say relearning, just kind of seeing, like, oh, when I'm shooting, it's like the triggers are here instead of all the way down here on a regular controller and everything like that. It's been a really nice build. I'm really kind of happy with it so far. So it's going to be probably going to be my at home. It does have headphone jack and pass through for the USB-C, so you can charge it, or if there's anything else you need to do with that USB-C while you're playing a game. So that goes through too. And again, no syncing, really easy to just plug and play. Versus I actually was really frustrated with the old Shanwan, because I couldn't figure out how to get this synced in Bluetooth. It was a big problem, and there was something somewhere I found on a website that said, oh, you need to put it in this mode with this button, kind of situation. Couldn't find it in any of the instructions that came with it, in the app that came with it, which looked really sketchy, which again is like this launch app kind of situation, right? And you're supposed to be able to do the software updates through it. It was really kind of speculative. So, and everything I looked up on it was like, in Japanese or Chinese. Honestly, I don't know which one. So it was hard to navigate what you needed to get this thing to work. So again, for like it's not bad when you get going for a nice kind of starter piece like this, and also you'd see how much space this thing takes up versus this thing when you're storing it. So like I think that's another big advantage of it is you do have that. And again, it does come with these excuse me. And then hopefully I can find hopefully I'm happy with the cases and the backbone cases. I might have an option there. Excuse me. Reach over here and grab this. It does.
Okay, I'm thinking just because I know there's cases for like photography add-ons for lenses.
Yes.
Those cases generally they're not bad, but they're not ruggedized.
Right, and that's what I'm worried about this too. I'm worried it's going to be like the glorified bumpers or something like that. And it does come with another set.
It'll be a little. I've seen a little bit like Reflex, the company. I know that you have to buy their case for their lenses type thing because it's a screw on and it's metal. It's not. It's a nice case, but it's not. Like I'm going to drop this from 20 feet on the solid concrete and it'll be fine, type thing.
And like I said, it's also kind of nice that it is Android compatible too. So if I grab one of those, we can play with that. There is one cool thing that I was looking at when you get that subscription with it for Backbone Plus. There's a service it's Android only because of accessibility there versus an iPhone. And it will for quote unquote popular games that don't have controller support and are just touch only. It will I gotta think I don't think League of Legends has controller support. I'd be very, very surprised if it did, but I'd imagine that'd be one of those games that they have an emulation that mimics your presses on the screen for touch only games. So I kind of I hope I can find my old Android device and throw it in there and be like, how does this work, guys? Or maybe I'll let in my brother and be like, hey, can you try this thing out? Again, that's going to be with a subscription, so that's not exactly something I'd want to get into. So I'm literally looking now to pull up the compatible cases, and there's actually some brands on here that I'm very familiar with. This is just text, but I'll pull it up anyways. Like the Apple silicone case, clear cases. Like they have Apple cases listed. They have a number of Peel cases. Spigen. That we've talked about a good bit here. Toraz, OtterBox. There's at least one OtterBox on here. Peel. Wow. So there are some options on there. So, and that's for the 16 series. And some of these are listed as the Pro Max. Not all of them seem to have a Pro Max version, maybe.
So that also may be the case maker itself.
That's true. Like it is. It's. I think it's a line because like you have the Spigen Cryo Armor, the Spigen Thin Fit, things like that. So I think it's a lot of that kind of situation. So, but either way, so again, it's are you using this as I kind of I'm using it as a professional device and go film things with it, but I also want to play my games on it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like it's still kind of an everything a device for me. It's like like your personal computer probably was generally before. Versus this computer. Just having a conversation with my brother about like Windows, and I was like, yeah, I'm on Windows 10. He's like, are you worried about security? I'm like, no, because I literally open vMix every week and that's it, and then open Google Drive and download a file. That's it. That's all we do. So it's not reaching out to the internet and doing all that kind of stuff, and that I'm really concerned about it. So again, that is where's the box is the official one. I mean, there's different modes of this, but this is just listed as the Backbone USB-C edition, just by the little doodad in the corner there. And again, it is Android compatible and everything, and I give it high marks so far from what I've been doing with it, and it does retail for about $100, and it was going for about 60 some, I think, on Amazon, and that was last week. So I'm curious what it's actually at right now. I can try to pull that up real quick.
I was looking at the Backbone website.
Yes,
and there is a pro model of the controller. It looks like back up to. But there's also ones that look like an Xbox controller and look like a PlayStation controller.
Yes, yeah, you can get special editions for that as well.
So yeah, and they're the same price though.
Yep,
they're the same price. So
yep.
If you're an Xbox or a PlayStation person, you're like, I'm used to things looking a certain way. and like I said, muscle memory is the biggest thing.
Yep.
You know that, you don't want to have to think, okay, this is happening. I have to use my right thumb and go up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to have to think that when stuff's happening. That's that muscle memory.
And it's not entirely the placement, but it is just like when it says like, hey, hit the Y button versus hit the triangle button. Like that's the biggest difference between the two of them, honestly. And functionally, it's really just like how we did it's the paint job. It's kind of more stylized and everything like that. So no thanks. What am I getting early access for? But anyways, so there you go. Yeah, and they're going for like 100. Why is the Xbox One edition, the Xbox edition, second gen, is like for $10 more for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure why. Oh, it's see-through plastic. Oh, look at that little yeah, okay, no, I'm not buying that yet. And it's actually those don't ship until July 24th.
Okay, and that one's only USB-C.
Yeah.
So there's no Lightning available.
Apparently for those ones if they're new. So you do have, when you go back to the general listing here, they do have all the listings here for like there's a Generation 2 version that's going. Oh, it's not even available right now, and you have the several Lightning versions as well. So you can if you're still on an older phone. You can get that going. So I think my what is it? My 13 is still probably a Lightning device, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and it is you can use it on an iPad, I believe, too. So if you're using one of those, I don't know if you want to use that with an iPad Pro necessarily.
I don't know if it would fit.
Well, the way that the way that they have these things, because they have these wings that go in here,
right?
Like this one, I think this is one of them's for using when you don't have a case, and one set's for when you do have a case, a compatible case. So when I listed it, it did say, was it on here or in the box? Maybe
I can see the iPad Mini.
Yeah, I think that's more what we're talking about.
I think and then I think Apple, all the new devices are USB-C now. They got rid of all their Lightning devices.
Yeah, and I can't play too much with it because literally all my iPads are still Lightning. So like this phone is probably the first one that had USB-C going on. So that's all I have really kind of play with this thing with for now until I find my Android phone that I lost a year ago. So but either way. But yeah, that's the backbone. It's pretty cool. I think it's all it's cracked up to be. I think it's worth the price if you can swing it. If you think that's worth enough, you're playing enough gaming on there. But between all the streaming and the emulators, and our Apple Arcade has some great stuff on there. I have again a Pro Max, so I have a giant screen, so it's really got a really good vibe to it. So definitely highly recommend it. Mm-hmm. So Dave, did you figure out a awesome thing of the week?
I did something that I probably won't buy.
It's okay. This is gonna be the pie in the sky if you win a lottery kind of situation.
Exactly. Because it's a new TV put out by there it is. Let me get the company here. It's Hisense, and it's 115 inches. But not only is it massive, it uses a mini LED backlight. So this is beyond, this is the next step for displays, if you will. So and also this thing is, $30,000.
What the hell?
Yeah.
How massive is this again?
It's 115 inches.
Okay, and is it because of the sizing, or they're doing anything else with it?
Partially the size.
Okay.
But mini LEDs are very expensive.
Mini LEDs, as in there's mini LEDs in the screen. It's not just the panel.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So there's three. It even calls it RBG because there are three little mini LEDs, one for each color channel, making a pixel.
Okay.
So it's newer. If you notice, like you have OLED screens on your phones, and you have other things, but mini LEDs, that's a brand new technology. Or I shouldn't say brand new. It's being rolled out, And there was talk of one of the iPads having mini LEDs a couple years down the road because it's so expensive now. Even something smaller like an iPad, it would be ridiculously expensive, and you probably would notice a difference on a smaller device. The thing is, if you get a normal, like a tablet, a laptop, you're not going to notice a major difference between the different screens per se, because it's small enough, everything's small enough there. But you get a display like this, it's, like I said, it's 116 inches, so it is massive. It's also 165 hertz refresh rate. So this is crazy high end. Now, as we saw with plasmas back in the day and LCDs and OLED screens, they all start at this you gotta be kidding me price. And then down the road, 5 years, 10 years, it gets to everybody who has a chance to get it. We were walking through like Walmart and Sam's Club recently, and it's like, oh, there's a 55-inch TV for $400.
It's kind of like that idea with like we talk about every year with CES, where this isn't stuff you're going to buy this year. This is stuff that you're going to buy 5 years from now.
Exactly.
And when it comes down to a consumer price kind of situation.
Yeah. Hey, okay. Let's see here. This person said he's 6 foot tall. He could not touch one end and the other at the same time.
So I can't do this and tip to tip kind of situation.
No, exactly.
Man, that's ridiculous. Oh boy. Well, so that's Hisense. Is it coming out soon, or I guess it doesn't really matter to us? But
now.
Good. Oh, good.
I don't know. Like the person said, he needs a bigger room. Because if you think about the size, that's almost a 10-foot TV.
Yeah.
And that's taking up for some people, that's taking up your entire wall.
Like some people don't have an apartment big enough for this thing.
No,
how do you get
exactly.
it in? Kind of thing. It's like.
And good luck getting it home somehow.
Absolutely. Like, oh my God, not in my little Ford Maverick, that's for sure.
No.
Anyways, so that's fun. Thank you.
It's Dave Podnar.
For your awesome thing of the week. And thank you, Patreon supporters, patreon.com/AwesomeCast, everybody that supports the show out there. Brian Crawford, who had a video on social media of riding the pickle at Picklesburg, the bucking pickle, if you will. Cynthia Klosky, John DeGore, and Dave Podnar. There you go. Supporting the show. Thank you so much. Last week we basically did overflow on the news, where we talked about the Bluetooth, the decentralized Bluetooth messaging that Jack Dorsey worked on. We talked about the new Gmail features, about getting all your email subscriptions and unsubscribes in one place, and whether surprisingly that was a good thing for somebody like Katie that worked on email subscriptions for her clients. So that was pretty cool to talk about. So go check that out. We have a lot of those discussions, and sometimes just stuff is like, oh, we're going to put the negative stuff over here. Like, for instance, I did peg for the Patreon my terrible experience with Irmo, and they got my money about an AI video application that I tried the other day and realized that it was not what all it's cracked up to be. And I'll show you some of the results. And there's some I will not show you, and I deleted them immediately because they were so disturbing. Let's put it that way. But I will tell you what they were later. So either way, and also, hey, he took a sabbatical last week, but sabbatical is my word of the night, apparently. So, he took a week off last week with things going on, and it was a slow news week, I think it was. But we are back with Chachi's Video Game Minute.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Chachi Says Video Game Minute. Here's as much video game news that I can cover in about a minute. FBI Atlanta has seized 7 different ROM sites, instead replacing them with the dreaded "this site has been seized" message. They slated that from February 28th to March 28th alone, there were 3.2 million downloads, resulting in $170 million in losses for the respective owners. So, I'm going to have to find new places now. Robert Caruso, the engineer who has put ChatGPT and Copilot up against the Atari 2600 in chess, attempted the same thing with Google Gemini, who started off by bragging and then immediately stopped and refused to play when it learned that the other two AI models got demolished. So, turns out AI can learn. And finally, Portal 2's 14-year reign as the highest rated video game on Steam has come to an end. The twist is that it isn't a new game that enthroned it. It was a 9-year-old game called Stardew Valley. It's pointed out that the difference is minute and could change again at any moment, but what can they say? People love farming sims. That's all the news I have for this week's Chachi Says Video Game Minute. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Chachi, for that. I'm at odds on the ROM story, so I don't know I guess the FBI would be involved in copyright infringement, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know it's kind of a sketchy thing, but they're definitely currently on the wrong side of the law. So
that's true, but I mean, think about going back to the early days of VHS.
Mm-hmm.
Kids, ask your parents or grandparents. You always had the FBI warning and the very beginning of all the VHS saying this is copyright. The FBI is going to come after you if you copy this.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, don't copy that floppy.
Don't copy that floppy. John, do you know about don't copy that floppy? Does that come up in your film study?
It has not. I am familiar with the FBI warning on VHS tapes, and my friend made a really profoundly awful student film in high school riffing off of the "you wouldn't steal a car" advertisement. So I can guess.
Okay. I think maybe that's something we should do on Patreon.
That's a Patreon.
And we should show you the don't copy that floppy.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let me let's see. Don't copy that floppy. If you have a moment and can look that up and drop it in the notes for Patreon, Dave, please do so.
Will do.
John, don't look it up. I want genuine surprise when we show you for the first time.
Oh no!
Live react.
That has to be a live react.
Live react. Anyways, we got some news. Let's get into it. I had one thing sight unseen, but I thought this. We talked about video games a little bit here, and I wanted to kind of. This goes along with my awesome thing and a little bit of the news here. But this came up, and by the way, the story here is the story headline that I found that's got me thinking about this and showed me this is, I think, pretty awful, honestly. The headline for the story, if you see it from the links or anything in the show notes or along the way, is Jeff Bezos might single-handedly destroy Xbox console sales with this bargain Fire TV thing. So the idea is, on Prime Day, they were offering, as if Jeff Bezos himself did this, it's a Fire TV Stick 4K, along with a Game Pass subscription Ultimate for a month and a Xbox controller, right? And it was something like $164 for this thing, right? So, and it's a Xbox Elite Series 2 core controller as well. So to look at this and say, oh, this is going to destroy Xbox, like, I think that the problem with that thinking is this is what they want, because Xbox themselves are putting out these anything can be an Xbox kind of ads, right? Like, they're in Samsung TVs, they're on your Android device, you can play them on your phone. So they're, you can play your Xbox games through the cloud on a Mac because they're not on there, right? So, like, I think that's the idea. This is actually part of the plan. And when people are talking about, oh, the consoles will go away and this, that, and the other thing, also, this is kind of still incomplete. Yes, you can do this, but the problem is if you only have the Fire Stick, you're only doing the cloud version. Great, you got all the Game Pass games. They come and go. And if you purchase them, you don't always get access to them on the cloud. Case in point, they have that. I think I mentioned in that about how I can play WWE 2K24, but not 2K25. I own them both. You do have to have Game Pass Ultimate in order to play games that you own. Mortal Kombat 1 is on there, for instance, right? But not 11. But 11 happens to be on Game Pass anyways, for the moment. If it goes away, I probably won't be able to play it. So, very specifically, if you're purchasing games that are on their list, that's fine. But not exactly all the games that you want, right? It's a very limited feature. Also, this is technically in beta, so you have a bit of an issue here, and I have a bit of an issue because it keeps telling me I can't sign into Microsoft. So there's that whole thing too. But either way, you get the idea. But still, it is, if you just kind of casually want to play a bunch of games pretty easily and just do it on a subscription basis, this is a pretty good bundle for this. And also, Luna seems to work pretty good well. Pretty well? Oh, great. Pretty well for video games on cloud as well. So, and obviously, I recommend if you get a stick, you want one of those adapters that you can plug it into Ethernet. That's what I do, especially since it's kind of in the back of the studio where Wi-Fi is a little funky, and it's going to solidify that stuff. So, either way, but you get the idea. So I don't know, Dave, if you've been seeing a lot about this Xbox without Xbox stuff like this with the Fire Sticks, or TVs, I think, are promoting this at this point.
I really haven't, to be honest, but I'm not a heavy gamer, so I wouldn't really keep an eye out for it. But anytime I see a headline saying this product, insert product here, will kill this other product, insert other product here, it never happens.
No. It's big hyperbole, attention getting,
And I don't blame the author of the piece, because most of the time they're not the ones writing the headline.
Mm-hmm.
It's either an editor or, more than likely now, AI who's writing the headline.
Yeah.
Based on it. So it is clickbait, but being an Apple person, how many over the last 15 years, how many times have I seen this is the iPhone killer? This is an iPad killer. This is an Apple Watch killer.
That's a nice idea that's not true. Even this article, this is the other thing. You got to watch out for this rash of articles. What is this? Tech Radar, right? I've been getting a lot of... So, hey, AwesomeCast has getting a lot of press releases lately, and you might see the fruit of some of those in the near future here, where I'm leaning into them. It's like, let's see what these people have to say. And let's see what people we get to talk to in the next few weeks. But they also don't... I get a press release about a product that's in Prime Day. I'm just like, dang, this is not reading an article about this. And of course, if you go into your Apple News app, you go on The Verge, you go in Engadget, go to Tech Radar, all the stories for the past week were what's on Prime Day, what's a good deal, right? Also, actually, most of those are affiliate links. If you know what I mean, right? So that's like, this is part of the business. This is like this is how they're trying to make money off of this over quote unquote journalism. And we use affiliate links here and there, but honestly not extensively, and I haven't for a while. Well, that's
the other thing to watch out for. So many journalists basically take the press release, copy 90% of it. Put a couple of sentences here and there.
Yep.
And then here's our story. No, it's not a story. You redid the press release.
Yeah. And that's...
Which I know you're overwhelmed. You don't have anything. But is that why you go... Did you go to journalism for that?
Well, they went to journalism... Oh, God, we're using the wrestling thing again. You get that, and then you get somewhere, and then you have a quota for articles a day, and that's why you're like, why is this article 2 paragraphs and didn't really say anything on this video game or on this tech site?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just part of it, unfortunately, right now. And that's what sucks about news. And we've been having a lot of discussions. I've been hearing a lot of discussions about how news is so terrible right now. It's just like, this isn't the journalism that I was taught when they told me what journalism was in high school. Or, God, did I have a journalism class maybe in school, in my art school, perhaps? But either way, you get the idea. So... I know it's what it is, but yeah, I thought that was that. But it is interesting to see the moving forward of Xbox as this kind of cloud service that they're offering, as a role. So, and of course that also, it's a Fire Stick TV, so it's not like that's the only thing you can do on it. I'm sure they wouldn't mind if they use the Amazon service as well. Google exec announces we're combining Chrome OS and Android. Finally, Dave says. Finally.
Well, I mean, the only reason I say finally is they cover very similar devices. They the Chromebooks are basically cheap laptops that run a web browser. And I know there's the Chromebook Pro now that can run AI that they just came out with, but it's still a lower end device. Android devices have been getting higher and higher end. And there's a big overlap. And the big problem with Android and Chrome OS is that the reason why, let's say, if you say to someone, hey, do you have a Android/ChromeOS tablet? They may use like a Fire tablet or something else to watch, but there no very few, I shouldn't say no one. Very few people are doing work on it because the apps aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
There's not an equivalent as far as I know saying, "Oh, I want to do full editing on my, my Chromebook or my Android tablet like you can an iPad Pro." Or heavy editing of photos or the various photos apps because they just don't transfer well to the tablet. So, and the fact that Google's had these two kind of operating systems for heavily mobile devices for 15 years now. And and it's like, well, if you want to run an Android device on a Chrome OS, you can mostly kind of.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
It's
to
like an
merge them
emulator
together.
or something, isn't it? That
It
loads in there, kind of like for Windows and uses Android devices or Android apps now. So it should be mostly the same base because it's all Linux. You would think, and not knowing the ins and outs of it, right?
I think they're actually a little bit different. So what they're going to do, they're going to make an Android, not a complete fork in it, but one to run on Chromebooks, and they're going to run the Chrome OS on top.
Okay.
So for those of us old enough, you're basically thinking Windows and MS-DOS back in the day, where you have an operating system on top of the base operating system.
Sure.
And I know Chromebooks are really popular with schools and some businesses because they're cheap. They're easy to configure, especially compared to PCs, Windows-based laptops. And like I said, especially for schools, your budgets are tight. Your budgets are going to get tighter, and you're looking everywhere to save money. And instead of having to deal with, a laptop and Windows and Office applications, you can say, here's a Chromebook that we can run Google Docs on and Google Sheets on, and that's good enough for our school right now. So, it could be, it's just one of those things of like, why didn't you do this sooner?
Yeah. Well, and I think there's been some confusion and interoperability issues, much like Microsoft, situation. Like I feel like we're seeing with gaming with Microsoft these days about they're trying to like make it, make it more streamlined for gaming and such for Microsoft, which is weird because they've been I thought they've been kind of the gaming platform when it comes to computers, right? So either way. One more. This is one I'm just kind of dipping a toe in. I haven't opened NotebookLM, Google's AI note-taking bucket kind of thing. It's the first thing where it looked like I could put a bunch of like scripts in and say, tell me what happens in these, and then use it as an information base. Of course, ChatGPT now does that. And I love doing that where I just like, hey, we took a bunch of interviews at this event. I'm going to dump all these interviews in here. Give me quotes where we talk about this, this, and this, and it helps me get started with the, picking apart some things I can use for a video edit, right? Saves me a lot of time rather than going through like an hour of interviews to look for these spots, or just like, oh, where did we talk about this? Where the transcriptions go? Blah, 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 like it helps out. But either way, they are launching for the Google LM notebooks on featured notebooks on selected topics. So of course they have like Shakespeare, the complete works, things like that. These are pre-populated notebooks in NotebookLM that you can go in and work from. So they call it like for the Science of Shakespeare, get advice from experts and call upon curated collections of informations featured in here. So there's things that can help you with like they have like Q1 earnings reports for the top 50 corporations is in here. Was it longevity advice from Eric Topol, an author.
Anything like that concerns me generally, but
because they're kind of guiding you in a certain way. Why are these partnerships here? Kind of things. Like I can sign. It feels like they're like. Here's what happens when you're given this blank canvas, for a tool like this. Like the first time you're given a ChatGPT in a prompt window, you don't know what the hell to do with this thing.
Right.
So I think the smart thing here is here's this thing with Shakespeare in it. Why don't you just ask it questions? Get into it. Maybe there's a couple prompts to get you started. I think NotebookLM, maybe even ChatGPT has been good about giving you some of those prompts to start with. Because people need to wrap their head around what is possible here to become a user of it, if not a power user of it. So I think that's the thing. It's like, oh, I'll go play with Shakespeare, kind of thing, or oh, this is something along the line. This is something I can use for school research
non-techie questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if all you're going to have are examples of computers, technology, the average person won't even go into it.
Just to give an idea of what they have beyond what I just mentioned. A science fan's guide to visiting Yellowstone National Park, an advice notebook from an author of How to Build a Life, who has columns in The Atlantic, expert analysis and predictions for the year 2025 shared in the World Ahead annual report by The Economist. These are kind of high-level publications for the most part, right? Science-backed parenting advice based on a professor of a Substack newsletter, Technosapiens. I think I've heard of that before. There was another one that was the overview of long-term trends in human well-being, published by University of Oxford. That sounds important. So that gives you an idea of what you can poke into. Again, I was talking with somebody today, and there's they have these news items and they link you out, and one of the things you link to was directly to the court document that the news it was about. It was some judgment that came down about the ICE raids, and maybe the one in California, but it literally just linked you straight to the court document, not an article about it, the 152-page court document, which means my wife can figure that out. I have no idea where to start, and the general person doesn't. But what I would do is take that, go put it in NotebookLM or ChatGPT, and be like, what the hell is this thing about? And let it kind of digest it for you. Make it so the rest of us plebes can figure it out for the most part, right? So, but that's the idea. It's something to play with over on NotebookLM. I've kind of chosen my vertical with ChatGPT. But I am kind of keeping the ear open to see what these other things do better. Journalists seem to love NotebookLM because you can put all your research on an article in there and then poke at it. That's, again, what I was doing with a lot of my interviews when I was trying to put together content for a client. I think it's super useful for that kind of stuff. That's a big, I'm really big on I'm finding myself trying to ask it more questions. For instance, when I'm driving in a car and I want to ask a question about what is this and this, when will this movie come out, more kind of trivial things like that. The connection of Siri to ChatGPT has been tremendous for me. That has been, I don't want to say transformative, but now I'm kind of doing that more than Googling, I guess. Yeah, no, they're in trouble. So, and it does come up with articles and citations and things like that, so you can follow up on that versus what it says. And also, if you haven't noticed, if you use ChatGPT in Siri, if you have that set up on your phone, it does always follow it up with check information for accuracy at the end of the notice. So they've been relatively responsible with that. So I don't know. I don't know, David. Yeah, obviously we were talking about you use some of it for work and things like that too. In certain aspects that we talked about in the past. So
yeah, and honestly, I use more Copilot just because that's the one that's approved by my company, and we use Microsoft apps. So. But I can do things.
It's the reason I have Teams on my computer.
Yay! But one thing I was able to do, I have a weekly one-on-one at work, and I was able to go to Copilot and say, "Give me a summary of all the emails I sent in the last week and the topics."
Yeah.
And it gave me a high-level list of here's 3 highlights of emails you sent, just to refresh my memory before I go into my meeting with my manager. So when he asked, what did you do this week? And I'm like, last Wednesday was so long ago, I have no idea. It can at least prompt me that way.
I'm actually trying that. I'm trying that right now, actually, to see if Gemini will let me do that, because I have Google Workplace, which I think Gemini looks like it's generally working in there. Yeah, so I just emailed Scott from SAE. I just said, what have I been emailing him about in the last 30 days? I know a lot of this is going to be about the live streams about a month ago, and things like that. And this is Dave, thank you. Because I never wrapped my head around that being an idea. Because it's always like, oh crap, when did we talk about this thing or something like that? And also, now I'm thinking in Gmail, my personal Gmail, which has my life since about the mid 2000s when it came out in beta, it could probably tell me a lot of stuff about me. A lot of really scary stuff about me that I've emailed over the years.
And if you have Google Photos, probably images, and calendar, and everything else Google related.
Oh, this gets scary. This is interesting. This is basically if you want to have the whatever chat you're using. What can you show me some pictures from our family reunion back in 2009? Yeah, that happens all the time with me too. Like when when was I? Is there do you have a picture of me doing a production in South Bend, Indiana? You know what I mean? Like I want to find something like that. Like that's been super, super helpful for things like that. So either way, Dave Podnar, thank you for joining me. We're going to do support Patreon here as well, and of course, you were a contributor over at the iPhoneography podcast.
Yes, and last night we had an episode. It's coming out soon about night photography. So we talked a little bit about there was an issue with the current iPhone, the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max, where one person, Shane Mostyn, who has a channel all about astrophotography, decided to go to Samsung and Pixel because the iPhone gave him an issue.
Excellent. One sec, I had a invite issue. So we had a guest that I thought was coming this week. I mixed it up as last week, but the invite's still out there. I never canceled it, so we're dealing with that. Anyways, Sorgatron on all the social medias. Again, I got some pictures from Picklesburg this past week, and not much else other than my travels to see my sister in Greenville this weekend. So we have a media pass for Techo here in Pittsburgh this weekend. So I'll be around, and actually we're going to be doing a panel with our friends at Steel City Slam Fest with MV Young on Friday evening at Techo as well. We did one of those at the Segura Project, I think it was, previously, so we're going to be doing one of those again. So I don't think we're going to stream it necessarily, but we're going to at least film it to post later. So if you're in Pittsburgh and going around Techo, look for me. Apparently I'm allowed to have a camera. So we're going to go. I've never been to Techo. I just know it's an anime con. I've always wanted to go to Techo, and I'm very excited that we got a media pass on this thing, and I got kind of free reign on it, and excited to be doing a panel.
And just to add a little clarification, it's TEKKO.
Yes.
Because I was looking for it, and I thought it was Tech, TECHO. And a whole bunch of stuff came up about roofs.
No, it's Techo 2025. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's going to be at the convention center downtown here in Pittsburgh. So I'm excited to, they have an escape room. Look at that. So we'll get in there, and I'm going to discover it. And I think I'm going to have a series of a noob goes to Techo kind of situation there. I feel like I should have somebody come with me that's like an anime guide of some sort, so I don't get myself in trouble. But we'll see. I got a +1 on the pass, so we'll figure it out. Either way, thank you so much, everybody, on the AwesomeCast. Stay tuned to our Patreon. We got a couple things to talk about, including don't copy that floppy for intern John. We'll see you guys next time. You've been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.
I'm Eamon.
I'm Merlin.
And we're a gay.
And his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His NB is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His NB on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.